Anyway, besides that, I was going to tell you that my father, he was a prominent politician that introduced me to the Commonwealth. But besides that, he introduced me to a lot of stuff. You know, I used to go with him in certain places. For instance, the first president of Tanganyika and Tanzania eventually, which was Julius Nyerere, was sick at the time. I think it was in the 90s or early mid 90s. Anyway, eventually died in 1999. But what I'm trying to say is, he took me to the hospital, and in the same room, I was with President Nyerere, who was former president of the United Republic of Tanzania. So we started talking with Nyerere, talking with Nyerere face to face. And he was, my father was saying, look, this is my son. His name is, Ramadan, but they used to call me another name, which is is a subject of a later conversation, I guess. Anyway, basically, what has all this got to do with the free pass in the UK? So basically, like I told you, you can go there for free as an army recruit, and you can get even promoted to stages further in your career. And of course, the army is going to take care of you. I mean, it's not that bad. You're gonna eat, you're gonna sleep well, you're gonna get trained, but you're not just gonna go to the army and into service all the time. Of course, you're gonna get back leave. You're gonna get back home for leave, and it's not just all fighting or going to the front lines. And although it's your choice, of course, if you want to have that kind of career, but it's a way that you can reach the UK. And this guy I told you, David Vitalis, he did this for 17 years. He worked there. He was in the army, but he eventually opted to leave and go into civilian life. So basically, what's all this got to do with all this? My father, I'm ranting about the Commonwealth Institute, and David Vitalis. Well, David Vitalis, he eventually left the army, and I even eventually left Britain. But my case wasn't the same. Of course, it's the same as David Vitalis, because there were instances of racism, and David Vitalis, he's saying that he left the army because he experienced certain elements of racism in the army, and not particularly by the government. The government is not racist, neither is the army racist, but there are certain individuals in the army which are racist. And on my case, of course, it's not that severe, but I've experienced instances where the police stop you for no reason. And even for my father, like I said, he had this sort of propaganda, or he was in the political machinery, which eventually spat him out, and he was down in the dumps. I mean, he rose to the prominence of being a minister and a member of parliament, down to being a diplomat, and then eventually, of course, he was a member of the executive committee of the CCM. Sorry, I'm not going to mention. I said I wasn't going to mention any political party because I'm not affiliated to any, or I'm not even campaigning for any. So eventually, my father he left Britain. He went back to Tanzania. Of course, he got these nominal posts, which weren't that elite as the first. He had the first ones he had before he moved to Britain. But fortunately, the gods favored him. At the end of the day, he was at the top of the machinery, the political machinery, at the near his death, and he died being a member of the National Executive Committee, which is probably the highest member of the leading political party that you can be. So David Vitalis, he went back home and he pursued further careers, which eventually landed him to be happy in the sun in the Caribbean. And I came back here willingly to come back to the motherland, because I think it's the best place in the world. And of course, I'm not saying that you can't go to the UK, or you don't need to go to the UK, or you want to go to the UK, whatever the reason is. But for my side, I'm really happy here to experience the African experience. And I invite you folks from the diaspora to come back to Africa, come and invest here, and live this life, amazing life, where you really feel at home. Of course, you've been to the Western countries for all these years and it's affected you, and you're probably going to have some drastic changes which are going to happen at the onset of your stay here. But eventually, I promise you're not going to get all those negative aspects of Western countries which Black people experience, such as the racism, the marginalization of what they call us. What do they call us? They call us minorities. What's the word? Remember it, and I'm gonna say it. Because I'm not speaking English all the time, unfortunately, here in Tanzania. Speaking Swahili most of the time. Hakuna matata. Anyway, we're gonna go there. Na wale ndugu zangu ambao wanataka kwenda Uingereza, basi hii ndo njia ya kwenda kule bila kupata visa yote. Sio lazima uende ukapata shida pale ubalozi, wakakwambia jaza form na nini. Kwa hiyo sema tu mimi nataka niende kupigana, sio kupigana, kujiunga na jeshi la Mfalme Charles, and you will get a position to go there without any those immigration restrictions. Anyway, folks, I'm gonna say goodbye, and of course I've got some great stuff coming up later on in the channel, which would like to involve you. Anyway, for the website, which I say to collect the information, you can see there. Just click on the place over there and go to opportunities, and you will find the information which I've been talking about here. And of course, there's a blog post which you can go there and also get the details which I've been talking about today. So without any further thing which I'm going to talk about, goodbye.